that Edgar had once given him, about the importance of being careful where one walks. It was advice that had taken on a new, literal meaning, for he now understood that every step had an impact on the greater whole. He moved through the world with a new, mindful grace, respecting the fragility of the things around him. The journey had been long, from the clinical, sterile office to this humble, cluttered apartment. But it had been a journey worth taking. It had led him to an understanding of the world that he could never have found in a textbook. It had taught him the value of patience, the necessity of curiosity, and the profound, transformative power of accepting that there is so much we do not know. As the years unfolded, he continued to serve in his silent, steady way. He became a legend of sorts, though no one would ever know his name. He was the man who kept the world from shaking, the man who ensured that the catastrophes remained within manageable bounds, and the man who, like Edgar before him, found contentment in the knowledge that he was doing his part. He was grateful for the opportunity to have met Edgar Witherspoon. That chance encounter had changed everything. It had opened a door that would otherwise have remained closed, allowing him to see the universe in a way that was both humbling and incredibly empowering. He was not a savior, nor was he a master of the universe. He was simply a man who had learned to listen, to care, and to act. And in that, he found all the fulfillment he could ever want. He was the custodian of the balance, the guardian of the future, and the friend of the present. He was, in his own way, a part of the very thing he sought to protect. And that, he realized, was the ultimate reward. The doctor knew that his work was never truly finished. The world was a restless, churning entity, constantly shifting and changing. But that was okay. He enjoyed the challenge. He embraced the responsibility. He lived in a state of constant, alert readiness, his eyes open, his ears attuned to the whispers of the universe, and his hands ready to make the next necessary adjustment. He had learned that the most important things in life are often the ones we cannot explain. The voice, the machine, the interconnectedness of all things, these were the threads that held the tapestry of existence together. And he was proud to be one of the weavers working in the quiet, hidden spaces to ensure that the pattern remained whole. He knew that there would be days when the work felt heavy, when the odds seemed stacked against him, and when he would yearn for the simplicity of his former life. But he also knew that those moments would pass. He had found his rhythm, his place, and his purpose, and he would never trade that for anything in the world. The legacy of Edgar Witherspoon was not a burden. It was a gift. It was a gift of perspective, a gift of purpose, and a gift of understanding. It was a gift that he would cherish for the rest of his life, and one that he would, in time, pass on to someone else. For the work had to continue, the world had to be kept in balance, and the story had to go on. And so, he continued his vigil, a quiet, dedicated soul in the heart of the city, working away in the clutter of his apartment, keeping the world from going poof, one adjustment at a time. He was a man of the Twilight Zone, a guardian of the extraordinary, and a quiet, unassuming hero whose name would never be recorded in the annals of history, but whose impact would be felt by every living thing on the planet. He felt at peace, knowing that he was exactly where he was meant to be, doing exactly what he was meant to do. He looked forward to the next challenge, to the next adjustment, and to the next day of quiet, dedicated service. He was a part of the world, and the world was a part of him. And that was enough. The doctor, once so obsessed with his own small clinical concerns, had finally opened his heart and his mind to the vast, mysterious, and infinitely beautiful reality of the world. He had learned that life is not just about what we can control, but about what we can nurture, what we can protect, and what we can appreciate. He had learned the true meaning of medicine, the true meaning of care, and the true meaning of a life well lived. He was the guardian of the balance, the protector of the order, and the friend of the universe. He was Dr. Jeremy Sinclair, and he was home. He stood by his machine, the hum of its existence a soothing melody in the quiet of his room. And he waited with a gentle, patient smile for the next instruction from the voice. He was ready. He had always been ready. He just needed to learn how to listen. And now he knew. The world continued to turn. The stars continued to shine, and the quiet, hidden work of keeping the universe in equilibrium continued, day after day, year after year. It was a beautiful, necessary, and profoundly moving cycle, a testament to the resilience of life and the power of the human spirit to find meaning in the midst of the chaos. And in the heart of it all, in an apartment in a city that never slept, a man sat quietly, a small smile on his face, as he made the tiny, precise adjustment that would ensure the world continued to spin in perfect, wonderful, and eternal harmony. He was a man who had found his purpose, his peace, and his place in the grand, magnificent design of life. He was a man of the world, for the world, and in the service of the world. He was happy, he was fulfilled, and he was, in every sense of the word, at home. The journey had been long, but it had been the journey of a lifetime. And he would not change a single step of it, for it had led him here to this moment, to this machine, and to this profound, life-affirming understanding. He took a deep breath, feeling the pulse of the world, the rhythm of the city, and the quiet hum of his machine. Everything was as it should be. Everything was in its place. And he, the silent guardian of the balance, was ready for whatever the next moment would bring. He was the doctor, the student, the apprentice, and the master all at once. And he was content. The story of the doctor and his machine, of the old man and his collection, and of the quiet, hidden, and incredibly important work they did would continue. It would continue as long as there was a world to protect, as long as there was a balance to maintain, and as long as there were people who cared enough to listen, and that, he knew, was the true beauty of life. It was a constant, ongoing process of creation, care, and balance. It was a journey that we all share, a journey that we all contribute to, and a journey that is, in the end, the most important journey of all. He was proud to be a part of it. He was proud to be the doctor. He was proud to be the guardian. And he was, above all, proud to be a man who had learned the value of the small, the quiet, and the profoundly significant acts of love and care that truly keep the world from falling apart. He looked around his room, at the collection of oddities and treasures that he had gathered, and he saw not a mess, but a masterpiece. Each item had its purpose, each part had its place, and each, in its own small way, contributed to the stability and the harmony of the whole. It was a reflection of the world itself, a chaotic, diverse, and incredibly vibrant collection of parts, all working together to create something much greater than the sum of its pieces. He had learned that the secret to a happy life is not to try to control everything, but to find the beauty in the chaos, the meaning in the seemingly meaningless, and the purpose in the process. He had learned that the world is a fragile, precious thing, and that we are all, in our own way, its guardians. He had learned that we are all connected, and that every action we take resonates through the very fabric of existence. He felt a deep sense of gratitude for the life he had been given, for the challenges he had faced, and for the wisdom he had gained. He was a man who had seen the world from a new perspective, and who was now, more than ever, committed to serving it with all his heart, all his mind, and all his soul. He was the doctor, and his practice was the world itself, and he wouldn't have it any other way. He sat back in his chair, the hum of the machine a constant, comforting presence, and he closed his eyes, listening to the quiet, steady rhythm of the city outside his window. He was at peace, he was content, and he was ready for whatever the future might hold. He was a man of the world, and he was home. The story of Edgar Witherspoon, the journey of Dr. Jeremy Sinclair, and the ongoing saga of the balance